What's up, everyone? Welcome to Skywalking through the League. My name is Trey Mitchell. I'm joined here by a bunch of sexy people. We have Tori Fox. Thank you for coming on
I
the
was
show.
first.
Yeah. We have Charlie.
In order of
Hey.
sexiness, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
We got Noah. And then we got Alden. If we were doing order of sexiness, I mean, I'm sorry, Alden, but Noah before you.
Oh, Noah before me, sure, but Chuck, he came in before me.
Right, I'm going to bed. I'm not.
It's awful. Tori, it's not fair. She's got herself together. She's, everybody loves her. She's beautiful. Like,
Tori has that awesome Mandalorian poster in the background. That was a big one.
Tori's got earrings. Tori, what earrings are those?
These are little Grogu's.
See, she's got all kinds of cool stuff.
Thank you.
We were all fighting for second. I would have given it to Noah as a courtesy, but then look what happened.
Charlie swooped in. What are you gonna do?
Terrible.
Amazing.
It's the haircut.
How is everyone's Fridays going?
Oh, it's been great. I can't decide what's more disappointing, Twitter or Hinge. So that's how Friday's going.
Those are your two options
on my end. Yeah, out of those two apps, what's more disappointing? Yeah, I mean, it's not everybody could be lucky like you, Trey.
Oh yeah, I know.
But yeah, things have been good. But I think that we need to address, Trey, that there's a first timer here.
I do. Noah. This is his podcast. This is his first ever podcast. How are you doing, Noah?
I'm shitting myself.
Yeah.
No, I'm doing fine. I've got some alcohol.
Yeah. And Noah and I are both.
That'll keep me going.
Absolute vodka over here. So
I don't know how you young bucks started off with Absolute to go live on a show.
Calms the nerves.
I usually start off pretty hard. Everyone else, they start with beer and everything, but I just go straight to the booze.
Absolutely.
So where are you located, my friend? You're in Finland?
Norway.
Norway? Why did I say Finland? Did someone say Finland in the chat today?
American, Alden.
It's pretty close.
It's not my fault. Somebody in the chat today said Finland. Someone said Germany. And maybe everyone was just shooting.
Russia.
Whatever. Russia was mentioned.
Russia.
So it's a miracle anyone got it. But
awesome.
That's nice.
Well, we're excited to talk about this episode of The Mandalorian. Pretty great episode if you ask me. But if you guys have noticed that one very beautiful redhead is not here, that is Bill Sheehy. Wait, speak of another beautiful person just showed up. It's not Bill, someone who's possibly better than Bill. Boom, Nikki Kumar. Nikki, what is up, buddy?
Good to be here. How's everyone?
Yeah.
Who is the stranger?
So many people
Better
I
now.
love, a few I don't.
I like less than half of you, half as well as you deserve.
Oh man. Fantastic.
Oh, this is like an awkward family reunion because there's an episode of Imperial Senate podcast premiering right now on YouTube.
Oh yeah, watch that.
And no, stay here. And then watch that after. And Nikki, who was on that show, is here.
True.
Very wibbly wobbly.
This is my podcast debut of the year. So it's a pleasure to be here.
You and
Thank
Noah
you for inviting
too.
me, Trey.
Yeah, of course, man. I just before we kind of get started, I randomly flew out to LA in October because I got tickets to this Spider-Man No Way Home trailer event thing, and met up with Nicky. Very nice guy. He gave me a limoncello LaCroix out of the trunk of his car, which was the highlight of my whole trip. Tom Holland was 15 feet from me, but Nicky's limoncello LaCroix was just delicious. So.
That's a real friendship.
Wow.
Indeed.
I didn't know you were a LaCroix guy. Interesting.
Learn something every day.
Yeah. Limoncello is the best flavor.
Limoncello slaps.
I don't think that's arguable.
Goes hard.
Yeah, it does.
Interesting.
You know what else slaps? Episode 5 of the Book of Boba Fett.
You almost said The Mandalorian, didn't you?
I almost did say The Mandalorian. You're right, Troy. You're
Chapter
right.
17 of The Mandalorian, episode 5 of the book.
It's a hybrid.
Yeah, this is our 4th year with Skywalking through the league, and this is the first episode I've ever hosted because Bill is not here right now. So trying to get through it. But yeah, so episode 5, or I guess chapter 5 of the Book of Boba Fett. Noah, what were your overall thoughts before we kind of get into the little details of this?
Wizard.
So
Yeah,
true.
well said,
So
buddy.
true.
Well
Can be
said.
condensed into one word, and that's the one.
Yeah, that's all I have to say. Wizard.
Wizard. Fair
Yeah.
enough. How about you, Alden?
It's incredible. It's great.
Do you have a thread about it?
I might have.
Probably. Oh my
I
god.
might
Okay, right,
I
right.
didn't see
Yeah.
one.
One.
Yeah, just to, and don't go click on articles that don't understand story. Read the thread. It's such a thought provoking, just wonderful thing, and I think that it has exposed. I think a lot of how do I put this lightly? Nikki will go much
Idiots.
farther than I will.
Nikki's
That's
a
one word.
savage.
Yeah, it has. I think really shown who carried the group PowerPoints in high school and who didn't. In a lot of ways, which is the best way I could put it, because it's like such a. I mean, the show called itself a book, and then this is where it really said, "Hey, we told you what we were," and this was your sort of dinterlude, as I was told to call it.
Nice. Trademark.
So yeah, I thought it was great.
Nice. How about you, Nikki?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure like most people, I watched it in the middle of the night, and it's one of those. There's like certain times in Star Wars fandom when you see something, and it's like I needed that. Like that felt good, and
Yeah.
Some people are using that feeling as a way to attack the Book of Boba Fett. I would never do that. I think it's perfect because it's just good. Like it's just a great thing. I think it encapsulates the perfection of Star Wars fandom. It had literally everything. Like it was funny, it was emotional, it had the big glorious canon beats, it had the geek out little references, it had it looked cool new visuals, the Halo ring, the Night of 1,000 Tears.
Yeah.
It had all of these just little things that all combined together. It's perfection. It's like when it finished, I was like, this is why we do this. This is why we go on StreamYard and talk about it, because it was so good. It was so good. But yeah.
I think they actually made it for this exact event. They were watching Skywalking, and they were like, we need to make this a podcast event.
It's true.
So yeah. How about you, Tori?
So actually, I was a little upset at first. I'm not gonna lie, because I love Boba Fett, and I'm a little sad I didn't see him. But this is a near perfect episode, and it pulls together all the things that I love about Star Wars, which is the deep world building and seeing everything just come together at once. Animation, video games, prequel era, beautiful, just beautiful. It was fun from start to finish. I loved it. And I'm over my anger now.
Wholeheartedly agree.
I'm over it.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that was righteous anger. Like,
Yeah,
it was
it's just-
very, yeah.
And I think it's the placement that gets me the most, because it's like, we have 2 episodes left. I don't know if there's another season, and I've been waiting my whole life to see this guy. So it's confusing to say the least. But again, I'm a big picture kind of gal. It's not over yet. So who knows what's around the corner?
But are you a local gal?
Huh? No. No, but I have dated a Jawa.
Oh.
Have you? Speaking of dating a Jawa, Bill Sheehy, ladies and gentlemen.
God damn. Y'all.
What a segue.
Fantastic.
Oh my god. I have been driving through Lexington, Kentucky. It's snowing. People decide to completely forget how to drive when we get an inch of snow. So here we are. I was taking my mama home from work.
A good son.
I'm so sorry I'm late. It was really funny because
He's literally pouring his drink right now.
dude, it's tipsy. I haven't had a drink yet. I got to catch up. It was really funny for anybody who was on the pod last week when she made her guest appearance. She the first thing she said when I dropped her off is said, "Bill, are you gonna get in trouble for not getting on the pod?" And I'm like, "Mom, it's my pod. We'll be fine."
It was just weird because I was the one that was starting, and we've done this for 4 years, and I've never started this podcast.
What?
So I was like,
"You did great."
I
haven't seen it yet, but you did great.
Thank you.
welcome.
I think you have to chug Bill according to Theron. But,
Well, I'm glad that Mrs. Sheehy takes showbiz seriously.
She does. She really does.
Love
What
her.
are we talking about?
we're just
Oh,
getting started with the
Star
book
Wars.
of Boba. I
Okay.
almost called it the Mandalorian.
The-
Tori caught me. So
I mean, I've called this Mandalorian the past couple days too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I guess
Yay, Kelly!
probably as good a place as any to kind of start the episode today. So obviously this is going to be our Book of Boba Fett episode 5 review. I'm very, very happy to be joined by such wonderful guests. A lot of people that I've always wanted to work with. Nikki, I've always wanted to work with you. Tori, Charlie, good to see you again. Noah, dude, I had no idea you were coming in from Norway. That is like
Finland.
Is it fit? You said
no,
Norway in
it's
the
not.
chat.
It's all Malawi. What's going on?
Did you drive to Sweden this time to get to a computer?
Right,
Yeah.
That's, no.
They shut down all the computers. Yeah.
No. That's awesome. So I guess we should just start by gauging everybody's thoughts on the episode overall. And if
you were here before, you would have known we did that, Bill.
Oh, we did. I'm so sorry. Here.
Well, Charlie, do we talk
Charlie
to
didn't go. It would be
Yeah,
Charlie
we have
and then
not hit
Bill.
Charlie
We're
yet.
in the
I'm
process.
so sorry. I'm
No,
not
I'm
prepared.
messing with you.
Oh, you're
God.
It's fine.
Shared business. No.
I'm just gonna leave.
I really like the episode.
Mhm.
Like Tori was saying, I can't say it was a perfect episode purely because of the fact that Tem wasn't in it. And without a bit of Tamora Morrison, it can't be 100% perfect.
Mhm.
So I give it like a 99.9%, you know.
I got you.
But I really did. I thought this is a really great exploration into themes that have already been set up, not just in the Book of Boba, but the Mandalorian season 2. And it's a nice way to sort of delve into Din's mind and point of view and his exploration of him dealing with his culture. So it's a nice little mirror towards Boba Fett, so that when we get to the last 2 episodes, we get action-packed. I'm hoping 2 like 50+ minutes episodes, action-packed, balls to the wall. I think we talked about this before, where we're like, these guys are just bros. Like they know what they're doing. Like they don't need to have an excuse to like get together. They don't have to pay each other to go and do like. It's you need me, okay, bro. I got you, bro. They are the two. I don't know if you've ever seen that sandwich meme, where like the guy's like, I made you a sandwich, bro. That's dinner.
Oh,
yeah.
That's dinner, bro.
This is for me?
For me? For me? This for you? That's for you.
That's how they are. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
bro.
really like we have our different group chats and stuff. I think we said this maybe last time that we were all in the air. Maybe it was on Knights of the Nerd Republic. I don't know. I talk a lot, but there's too many shows. But we had discussed sort of like it feels like a modern sort of people being open about mental health dynamic. Like when you're like Trey, you'll probably be comfortable with me saying this. You and I have conversations about mental health, about therapy, medication, whatever. Like it's out there. Like it's 2022. And I feel like that's what they have. Like, I want Boba Fett to be like, hey, man, my dad and I didn't see him all the time. Like, it'll be all right. He still loves you no matter where he is. Like, hey, man, you want to get in the back of the pod? So you messed up your leg. Like, all of that. Like,
You sound like Taika Waititi trying to be to me.
I know.
Which is
it's all
good.
New
It's great.
Zealanders. It's
appreciate
IG-11 by
it.
way of
I
Boba Fett. But yeah, they speak the same language, and I think that's what this episode is saying.
It's the real Creed. It's the real Creed in action. It's not the fake.
It's not dogma.
One. Yeah, it's that idea. Din said it himself. It's about loyalty. It's about, I forget the other word he said. I remember loyalty.
It's about drive. It's about power.
Solidarity.
Solidarity.
Yeah,
There you
power.
go. Sorry.
That's right.
It's that in action.
Solidarity.
Real stuff.
Because I saw people joke. Sorry, I just saw people joke about so the show can't be called The Mandalorian anymore. It's like that's not the point. Otherwise, the show could have been called The Weird Cult Mandalorians. And
The whole point was about what is the. I swear, it's like bringing a horse to water. Like you can't make people dig a little bit deeper. Our episode's not out yet, but
Tuscans count.
Tori and Holly Fry were talking about the whole it's Return of the Mandalorian in the same way that Return of the Jedi has about 3-4 different meanings. You dig deep into like what that means. It's been asking these questions since the beginning, and the Book of Boba Fett as a title asks the questions too. He's not literally writing a book, although if he pulled one out at the end of the season, that'd be great.
I want a burn book, you know.
A burn book. Oh yeah, Bosk is a dirty skank or like some.
Oh my god!
Ugly slut.
How rude!
I can't remember what they were in Mean
Just
Girls.
watched
but-
Mean Girls this week, so I'm so happy that I understood that reference.
Just every page is just a picture of the major demo, and it's like, do not trust him.
Do not.
To make
Is a
Wizard
fugly
happen.
slut.
Fugly
No,
slut.
Wizard
that's
is
what it
happening. Wizard is happening, Charlie. It's having a moment, and I appreciate.
Oh, I'm pro
it.
Wizard. That's what
I'm-
Mean Girls reference.
I don't
Charlie
know.
is pro wizard. Nice.
Pro Wizard, good. I was surprised. Like, I don't know why, and I think it's just how this about season 2 of The Mandalorian ended. I was surprised that like Din kept the Darksaber, like because I didn't expect them to like. I thought they would do that next season, like in The Mandalorian, but like I have no idea why it didn't cross my mind like that. Of course he would have it. Like even like when he first steps up, and you see he has the Beskar staff. I'm like, oh, he's gonna fuck shit up with that. Like it's gonna be, he's gonna have so much fun with it. But when he pulled out the Darksaber, I was not able to watch the episode first. Like when I usually do, I wake up early, and watch it before work. I slept in a little bit, but I watched the opening like on my
What a
Oh,
phone
tease.
as I was getting ready for work, and like just me having a towel around me watching that and like just fully like,
No.
okay, this is kind of hot. Like, you know,
Paint a picture.
I know.
So you're
I-
edging yourself with Boba.
Easy now.
And-
Easy.
It's a
One
family
easy.
show.
Mom's probably
Family
watching
show.
right now.
Hi,
She's-
Mrs. Sheehy.
Good to see you, Mom.
Sorry you had to
Um,
hear about your son edging. But
She's
I'm
like,
gonna
not
have to-
again.
I'm gonna have to have a very difficult conversation with her tomorrow about what that is.
but I mean, it's a good point though. I mean, like just like yeah, of course you would have it, you'd think, but we don't. We know that Gideon's arrested,
Mhm.
and he's in custody of the New Republic Tribunal. He's gonna, face presumably a trial, but but we don't know. Did Bo-Katan choose to let him walk? Did they have a hand-to-hand fight? Was it a Fennec and Casca and Cara Dune had to break it up? Like what happened in between the light cruiser and now is super intriguing.
Yeah, I totally agree, and like I don't know if we've gotten to this yet. And once again, I'm sorry I'm late, y'all. But
You're driving your mom home from
No,
work.
but,
That is not something to apologize
no,
about.
it's all
No,
good.
you're
No,
a good
I
son,
appreciate that.
In the
I-
snow, might I add.
I kind of want to. I've been wanting to talk to Alden about this because you had a really, really good thread about the narrative around this episode that I've seen is this is just Mando. This is not Book of Boba Fett. This was Mandalorian season 2 episode 14. This was not the Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
I understand why people would have that reaction, but tell me why they're wrong, Alden. And I want to see where everybody else is on this.
I think that it's a fundamental misunderstanding of titles, expectations. Like yes, his name is in the name of the show, but we are living in an age now where that to me means less than it ever has. And that's not to say that he doesn't deserve the spotlight, because what they've done with him is incredible. I think particularly chapter 2 of this show is one of the best 50-minute periods of Star Wars ever put to screen in any medium. The thing is, though, go to something like recently WandaVision. There's an episode that is entirely Monica's backstory, Monica's point of view, Monica on the outskirts of the core events of the show. It is still WandaVision. It didn't suddenly become any of Monica's superhero names, be that Photon, be that Spectrum, whatever they choose to do with her. It was still servicing the narrative of what? Oh, don't you start with me. All right. It didn't suddenly stop being WandaVision. Game of Thrones has done that constantly, where there were episodes, sort of does the inverse thing, where because it is an ensemble of all these locations, but every now and then it would say, fuck the rest of these locations. We're staying here. and we're going to put a pause on everything because you just do what it needs you to do. There could have been value in terms of a cinematic rousing moment of Din Djarin, of just doing the musical tease, and then Din Djarin shows up in this battle against the Pikes, and he flies in on this souped up N1. That would have been crazy. What the hell? Like, did you see what he was flying? Like, we would have had a lot of fun with that. But I think putting all the weight, emphasizing where they are mentally, and then bringing these guys together is really smart, because it is already, you know, on our episode, I was comparing it to chess, and I've done that with a few conversations with this, is we're in the end game of this. You know, it's like game set. Like, this last episode, episode 4, ended with Boba Fett and Fennec being like, all right, we're ready for war. Like, it's on now. And so in the simmering point, let's take a point of view in sort of a bonus episode, the interlude, the dinterlude, whatever it's going to be, Mandalorian chapter 17.
Did you come up with that?
No,
that's really
I didn't.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
I didn't.
I was
I
about to
didn't.
say.
I will tell you who came up with it in a second.
Okay.
I have to grab their handle. But yeah, so it becomes value for the book. You know, like, I don't know if people have ever heard of this small book called the Bible. It's a bunch of different guys, but they're all sort of servicing this. I mean, I'm not advocating for it, but it does have sort of these different valuable perspectives. And I had somebody, and they were being really cool about it, but they were saying, I mean, like, I vehemently disagreed with them, but they were saying, like, oh, but if Boba's not there, then how can it X, Y, and Z? And I'm like, well, there are people that are intimately part of Boba Fett's story that are never seen in the show and never will be because they're dead. Jango Fett, Almec, Bo-Katan, Aura Singh. These are all people that have been intimately part of his story, just as much as these Tuskens, just as much as Fennec. Please.
Aura Singh's alive, but
Is she? Is that
in our hearts and minds?
we don't trust a thing that
technically,
Beckett
Django
says
wasn't
ever.
okay?
Yeah.
I got you.
But yeah, so to wrap it up, I just think that it's just, we are in a time where we have taken, I think, binge culture from binge watching, and we have taken all the habits we learned in binge culture and brought them back into weekly. And that's bad, TM. It's not good. It's actively harming the consumption of stories. Whereas, and I'm not saying weekly's perfect, because weekly also subjects us to dumbass think pieces and terrible articles in the meantime, but it's better than the alternative, and we need to leave some of the expectation of immediate gratification in the binge territory, because if it was all binging, we would never, ever give Bryce Dallas Howard her flowers. We would never give Steph Green her flowers. We would never give Kevin Tancharoen his flowers, Robert Rodriguez, Dave Filoni, anyone. It would all just be oh yeah, and Stranger Things, when did 11 do that thing? It was like at the beginning of the season. Everything would blend together. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. But we've got to have more trust in storytellers. I live in a culture right now that tries very hard to gotcha storytellers. Like, see, they don't know what they're doing. Doesn't know what kind of show it wants to be. And it's like, well, you don't know what kind of fan you want to be.
Nice.
You don't know what kind of take you want to have until someone decides it for you. And I'm not in the business of that. So there you go.
Tori, where are you on this? Or are you
Drop
more?
the mic.
Do you agree with Alden? Do you think this was the right thing to do? How would you have done anything different? What do you think?
So I did not to shame you for being late. I did say this before.
Okay.
But
I'm
you're driving your
feeling
mom.
a lot-
Do not apologize.
I'm
Do not
feeling
apologize.
a lot of shame right
Do not
now.
apologize.
It's-
No. I just wanted to
it's
say that because I don't know.
delayed.
I feel weird repeating myself.
I'm so sorry.
No, in a way of like, Tori already said this. I just feel like people are annoyed with me. It's fine. Anyway, I agree. I was actually upset that there was a lack of Boba Fett, though. I have since thought about it, sat with it, and I said, basically, I agree with what Alden is saying, and it's in that same breath of, I don't know where the next 2 episodes are going. So why would I get upset about this right now? When there's still more to experience, there's still more to learn. And it was a really good episode. It was a really good episode. And I think my biggest thing is the placement of it felt weird because it was kind of like, oh, we're going to war. Ooh, it's going to be hype. And like, it was really exciting and hype, but it wasn't in like a, we're going to battle kind of way. It was in a, oh, wow, I'm getting these like smaller, maybe more low stakes scenarios that I always want to see. in a whole episode. That's just like fun little things like fixing up a ship and going to a weird nightclub, and so I loved it. I have questions about why this placement and where it's going, but
and absolutely, and I think that it provides essential answers to questions that we had after season 2 of The Mandalorian. And I think that it makes it an essential episode of just a Star Wars show. Like it doesn't matter if it's Book of Boba Fett or Mandalorian or
no, it's just
like
good.
I mean, it's a sequel to Trials of the Darksaber.
Yep.
It's a sequel to every Mandalore episode in the Clone Wars. It's a follow-up to everything that Gideon said in season 1 of Mando, season 2 of Mando. Like it's key to all of that. I mean, it's not so much in terms of because Boba's relationship with Mandalore is so through the lens of Jango. But even then, the armor providing all this historical context of those who were born of Mandalore strayed from the way. That exempts the Fets. That tells you where the armorer and the Children of the Watch, how they think of the Fets, because Jango is a foundling. So she is one of the greatest morally ambiguous characters that I think Star Wars has ever created, because every single thing that comes out of her mouth has an air of, it's a good point, but then you think about the fact that she's a Puritan extremist gaslighter, and it just all, because she's not wrong about solidarity, she's not wrong about all these things, and it ties in with rebels of Sabine wanting to do the best thing for her people, but did that damn them? Because there's a mystical component to the saber that is factually in action. It's becoming Mjolnir. You're not centered, you can't lift it as well. But is the curse real? Is the prophecy of the mythosaur real? And it's Star Wars is doing its best work when it's asking questions. Like, how did the Lothwolf get from one side of the planet to the other in 30 seconds? I don't know. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesnn't matter. Like that. Those are questions for a databank.
Yeah.
Nikki, your infamous databank quote.
Yeah.
To add to Alden's point quickly, I thought what he's saying is completely true, and I feel like the story of Tar Vizsla might be the most interesting part of this whole sort of new mythologizing of Mandalore, because I feel like Tar Vizsla is probably the way, even though he's an old figure 1,000 years ago, he's probably the way forward. He's a combination of two different ideologies. It's the Jedi and the Mandalorians, and I feel like you were saying, the sort of the foundlings and the people at the Armorer probably represent the more Mandalorian, like we're a tribe, but we keep away, we keep our helmets on, whereas the Jedi are a bit more, a bit different. I think it's somewhere in the middle, and I feel like that's what Boba and Din sort of represent the best. They're allowed to have those attachments and tribal units, but also they're very strong against that. So I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see like a sort of the Armorer, and also the sort of the aristocracy into people like Lady Bo-Katan having to come together and realize we have to work together. Which I feel like will work in our favor when we get to see Emily Swallow's face.
It's I think that's really, really interesting, because you're mentioning a character who is trying to find a way forward using the best parts of Mandalorian Creed, because like he's already taken his helmet off, so like he's moving in a different direction. Not dissimilar to where Luke Skywalker is right now, with trying to take the best parts of the Jedi and move that forward. We know what happens with Luke, but we don't know what happens with Din. I think that's just to have that, to eventually have further interactions with Din and Luke talking something similar.
Yeah. And that's
would be interesting.
That's so much of what Star Wars is, right? I mean, it's how do you reconcile with the sins of the father? The father doesn't have to be literal. The father could be the institution that brought you up. The father could be the person that you look to as a father, but he really looked at you like a brother, and that really caused a rift between you. And it's in all of these dynamics, and it's not a coincidence. And I was talking to Tori and Holly about it last night. It's not a coincidence at all that Grogu is a Mandalorian foundling of Clan Jaren.
I was gonna say, when Charlie was talking, I was like, so Grogu's holding the Darksaber. Is that what I'm hearing?
The Clan of Two. I mean, he has a Grogu. There's a
Jedi Mandalorian.
He's a Jedi Mandalorian.
Again,
he's the first one since Tar Vizsla. Even if he doesn't know it yet, even if none of the characters have put it together yet, who knows how official the Luke Skywalker training process is going to be because it's his way forward. So maybe it's not you're a Padawan. Look at him. He knows. He knows it's his moment. I also think that, will Grogu wield the Darksaber? I don't know. There's probably a height adjustment thing on there like the rest of the sabers. Read a visual dictionary.
It's like a dark knife.
Yeah.
Like a little.
Yeah, a dark shank. Yeah, like
the dark knife rises, if you will.
The dark knife rises. But I honestly think that a lot of the point of this episode is that the Darksaber has to be destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that much like the ring, much like the Elder Wand, much like lots of stuff. There are mythic things and items.
The Iron
and stuff
Throne,
like,
say it.
And the Iron Throne. And the Iron Throne. It's true. It has...
Say it.
The only person that's ever possessed it that was willing to give it up was Sabine Wren, who has reconciled with the pain of having been disenfranchised with her people way before she ever held it. As a preteen girl, she was being ostracized by these people. So it's like it might get to the point where Din has to cast it into the fire, wherever that is.
And of course, one of the several great classic fantasy tropes is those best suited to power are the ones who reject it. So it's all these, again, like you mentioned, the armorer has these, is she right, is she not kind of thing, because when she said about Bo-Katan being a cautionary tale, like I think that's true.
Bo-Katan was a fascist.
I think she just in terms of like leadership, because I mean it's like we generally root for Bo-Katan, and certainly at this point.
As a great redemptive hero.
I think that might change, but that's
because the thing, she wants it too much, right? Like, so that's what's really cool about that idea of, was Din gonna show up with this thing? Because it's like, where's Bo-Katan at?
Is she at a place where she was gonna attack him after Luke left?
Was she gonna throw down? Was she like, I'll wait?
Because she looked
like, mad?
She looked determined, but now we know with this curse mythology. In the back of her mind, she's like, I shouldn't have taken it from Sabine. I shouldn't have taken it from Sabine.
Yeah.
Like,
I need to win it now.
The death of millions, as they said with Gideon, is on her shoulders, at least from her perspective. And that's the danger of dogma and prophecy, which Star Wars constantly cautions you against prophecy. Every single Skywalker, even Leia, has heeded the words of the vision and then been proven wrong in some way. That it's in the fallibility, in the same way George R. Martin does that with prophecy. Like,
I mean, that's just storytelling in general, right? I think like any prophecy exists in a story to be misinterpreted.
Yes, and then when with these objects, it comes with the reins of power as well. You go to the Philosopher's Stone. Only somebody that was looking for it not to wield it could find it, could receive it, and it's all about humility and giving up and not striking. And that's so Star Wars as well. And even though these Mandalorians are not Force heroes like Rey, Luke, Ezra, Cal, all of them, they're in the same story. Even Peli Motto in this episode is doing a lot of comedy. But Peli Motto, I have to give credit to Joseph Scrimshaw from Force Center. Joseph said this episode is the tale of one man stuck between his two mother figures, and one of them is saying, "You're back home, fall in line," and the other one is saying, why don't you make this what you need it to be and fly? Literally. I'll make it work.
So sweet.
I will make it work for you. You tell me what parts you want and I'll make it work. Whereas the armor is, you're back home, my rules again, you're in my house, and I don't care what growth you went through. Fall in line because we need you. It's guilt, gaslighting. And Pelly's like, look, dude, I banged a Jawa. Life's great. All right. I'm telling you, life's weird.
She said they dated
everywhere on those things.
Not go into detail.
She's at least been under the ropes, story. She's at least been under the ropes.
Amy Sedaris' delivery of the line when she's like, "No, I'm working on myself," is perfect.
Oh,
Like,
it's
And we were saying, like, kudos to that Jara as well for being very respective of her boundaries.
Of being
Jara's
rejected,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you know what? Much love to you. Good luck with the.
That's cool.
It's up to you.
That's cool. I want Jawas to like low key be the greatest lovers in the galaxy. Like,
look at them.
I think we got our confirmation this week more than.
I was gonna say she made it sound like it was a qualifier. She was like, "I dated a Jawa. I know what I'm doing."
Yeah.
Like a language like the Jawas means you got a very precise and active tongue.
That's, I mean,
Noah, Noah, we haven't heard a lot from you, bud. What do you think? We kind of went a couple different places there. Did I don't want you to repeat yourself, but did you enjoy the episode? Did you feel like it fell in line with the Book of Boba Fett? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Where are you on it?
I felt like, Din's journey and Boba's journey, they're very much the same
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of ways. About, breaking away from your past self and trying to build a new tribe and try to find your place in the galaxy. And just answering this call to a higher purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Boba chose to answer that call, whereas Din sort of was thrust into this very wild galaxy of wizards and crazy people. So I feel like I think it was important to show where Din is right now, and I think both him and Boba can learn a lot from each other.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was consistent with everything the show has been about.
Absolutely. And so, Alden was talking a little bit earlier about different group chats and stuff like that. The Goon Squad, which is one that I'm a part of, is filled with some Phantom Menace supporters and lovers, some Bombad people, really,
guys, yeah.
some really Bombad guys.
I wonder who those could be.
I have no
Crazy.
idea. They just really enjoyed it. I think what they pointed out is that this episode was kind of a Phantom Menace lover's wet dream.
Yeah.
Even like down to like the little details, like there were Anakin like went off the side on the road, like they showed that, and like it was broken. Like that was so cool. So like I think all of us are children of the prequels. Like I was born in '94 and I saw the Phantom Menace in theaters when I was 5. And just like having that kind of nostalgia and seeing this to me was really, really cool. Nikki, I think we're yes, you. I think we're
Yes,
similar. We're similar in age.
Yeah.
Did it feel more special to see basically what was a loving homage to the pod racing scene? Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? What were your thoughts?
Yeah.
What were your feelings when that was happening?
Yeah, no, I mean, like so many, like you said, with we're the prequel kids, and the Phantom Menace is my favorite prequel. So, and pod racing is like my favorite thing ever. So just seeing the canyon and there you go. Seeing the canyon, seeing all that with a souped up Naboo starfighter. It was just, it's like those things where it's like when you write it down on paper, it sounds so ridiculous, but they executed it in a way that just felt totally natural to Star Wars. And I think that's the beautiful marriage that happens in Star Wars. I won't remember the Taika quote like immediately or perfectly, but where he's like,
it doesn't take itself 100% seriously, but it does believe in itself.
Thank you. And it's like, it's that.
It's going to be tattooed on my ass in May.
Perfect. So yeah, it felt like that. It's just that ridiculousness of what is possible with Star Wars, and then doing it and completing it. And so yeah, that felt really cool. It was nostalgia. It's all sorts of things. I mean, we see a lot of people right now with Hayden coming back with stuff like this. There's this word of like vindication, and like it does feel a bit like that because especially the Phantom Menace was put through hell, like societally, internet, blah blah blah. Even to this day, there are people who still like to take a crack at it. So seeing it celebrated, seeing the prequel celebrated, is just, it feels good. It feels like we earned this, like we struggled for about 20 years before people started saying, oh yeah, actually let's throw some props to those. So yeah,
Trey,
that's kind of how I felt.
Trey, do you feel validation? Like for this, not in general, but like
not in your life.
Yeah.
Not in your life, just with the prequels.
I mean, okay. I used to go to Dave & Buster's as a kid, and there would be these like Phantom Menace pod racing games
Yep.
that you would like sit in and play.
Mhm.
And this made me feel like that episode. Tori relates. It was, I mean, we're all children of the prequels. I think we've all had that person that are like, the prequels suck, and you're like, well, actually, there's a lot of good there if you want to look at it. But if you want to look over everything, I can't change your opinion. But this episode was genuinely one of my favorite slices in Star Wars. It was, I thought it had like, Stefan voice. It had everything, humor. Din
Star Wars
Djarin.
had everything. Humor.
Yeah. Tatooine.
Fucking Jawas.
Pod racing. But it was just it was so pure Star Wars. And we haven't mentioned, I don't think we mentioned her name yet, but just Bryce Dallas Howard. Like, what an amazing job here. This is her third episode in Star Wars directing, right?
She is her dad's daughter. Like, the way that she's come into her own, it's like wild to think that she had like zero experience directing when she started. It's crazy.
Yeah. And she, I think she does a great job of showing like the little moments in Star Wars where Din is fixing his new N1 ship, and that BD unit just like shines a little projection of the thing he needs to use, and Din's like, thanks. It's great. It's so pure Star Wars. And I've watched this twice. I'm excited to watch it again. I think the conversation of, this is the book of Boba Fett. Does this fit? I would link to Alden's like 23 tweet thread about this.
18. 18.
Not that anyone's counting. It's
not that anyone's counting. Wake up, babe. New Alden thread just dropped. But
to the chagrin of some and the pleasure of others, which
Yeah. But it was awesome. I really thought this was one of my favorite little pieces of Star Wars ever made. It was the successor to Trials of the Darksaber, which Rebels was my favorite thing to ever come from this galaxy so far. So I thought that this was just amazing, and I'm really happy that Bryce Dallas Howard was the director of this, because I think she's amazing in everything she's done.
And she's already coming back for Mando season 3, is being reported,
which will be the best episode. We already know that. It's just like, why even do the rest of the season?
She's just good. Like, and I think that, and I mean, her first episode slapped. The Sanctuary. It's a great episode, but I think that the leaps and bounds that she's made across her 3. By the time you get to this one, the volume has caught up with her vision, and to be able to do Bunta Eve in the volume is like fucking nuts. And for it to look that good and that expansive, and to have so much either depth of field or going vertical and just everything. I mean, she's, again, small moments, big stuff, battle scenes, a little Terminator 2 in there, a little comedy. Like, people are saying like, oh, I want her to get a movie, let her run a show, she needs to get an episode on Willow.
Let her run Star Wars.
She needs to get it.
Do anything.
Yeah. She needs to get an episode on Willow. Absolutely. I'd love to see her do, I mean, I don't know if the Andor slots are all full. Maybe she was on there. Who knows? Let her do an Ahsoka. She's just got it. She really does. I think that if Solo 2 was ever made, she should do it, just to have a nice poetic
I agree.
passing of the torch.
That would be cool. That would be really, really.
That'd be awesome.
If they did a solo series, Ron and Bryce Dallas working together, like splitting, that would be so...
Ron Howard and Bryce Dallas Howard. I would ascend.
I mean, it should just be like an immediate, like always, like on speed dial for Lucasfilm. Like if they have a project, just go for it.
Sanctuary. I've been watching Dexter New Blood, and O'Mara herself, Julia Jones, was in that, and she was great. And like every time she showed up, or every time she was on the screen, I was like, man, they should bring her back for Mando season 3. Like
they should.
Oh, she's so good.
I was so hoping that when they went to go, like, what's in my mind between episodes, we didn't know what was going to happen, right? And I'm like, they're going to go find Mando. I was hoping that he was with her.
What if O'Mara's his little friend he's got to go see?
Who cares about the kid?
Like, oh yeah.
Oops. Speaking of the kid too, like, I can't believe we're going to talk about like the packaging of gifts in a Star Wars, but oh my god, It was so perfectly done. That just like the gift wrap looking like Grogu. It's little moments like that I love. Moments that like you can't really like say it out loud, but then when you do it and you show it and you look like, oh, he misses Grogu. Like, it's so emotional. It's so really, really well done. And like I said, I can't believe we're talking about packaging of gifts. Also, what's in the package?
Mithril.
Baby chainmail.
It's a baby
What is it?
chainmail
Baby
shirt.
chainmail, yeah.
Like the mithril that
It's Lord of the
Bilbo gives to
Rings.
Frodo.
Yeah.
And that he's able to withstand blows. I mean, Filoni is a Lord of the Rings diehard. Ahsoka the White was just the first shade. Then we see her in Mando season 2, and she's Ahsoka the Gray, which now we can recontextualize that as maybe being before. Bo-Katan is Boromir. I've gone on at length about this, and Bo-Katan will die on the sword in some way, I firmly think. And then this is his mithril shout, where I think that Din will give him a little shirt. Either he's wearing Beskar underneath a little youngling robe or something.
He's gonna get
No,
shot.
it's gotta be flashy. It's gotta be on the outside. Be on the outside. Who's
I mean,
Radagast
it's
the
like-
Brown?
The Bendu. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Doctor Who.
Yeah, another doctor. Yeah, another doctor. It's perfect. Yeah, there's just so much going on in this episode, and I love that you talked about the gift stuff. Like, there's so many moments that you end up absorbing, like the luggage moment, which was just great, of him unloading all of his different weapons, and even just Bryce directs in a way that lets you breathe. I think that Bryce, Rick Famuyiwa, and then Dave got there. I think that the Jedi lets you do that a lot too, but this one has that gorgeous oneer up the elevator all the way into that bar, and then the camera stays, and then it goes back down the elevator. I was like, this woman is like, she's just so good.
I'll say this: I think Bryce might be my favorite George Lucas-esque director of the new stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shots that are in this that are very Lucasy. Particularly one that really stood out. I know we're talking about the Phantom Menace, but there's a shot when Din does the spinning of the N1. That's literally just the beginning of Attack of the Clones. And I've got like a side by side
Yes.
of it when
Yes.
Padme's with the being escorted to the Coruscant. I was like, oh, it's so Attack of the Clones.
That
what
and
did
just
she
like
say
Too good.
in the gallery? Didn't she? It was like Uncle George's garage. Like
Yeah.
George's garage.
not-
the
this
volume
is not
George's
just
garage.
like
No.
an eye for artists. Like this is an actual relationship between these.
Yeah.
two.
Exactly.
I mean, she
we-
talks about her and her brothers and sisters getting their gifts from George when they were kids that would get sent to the house from Lucasfilm, all the toys, and that beautiful story that she told in the first gallery that had all the directors like, what the fuck? Like, that's the coolest thing I've ever heard, where she was in Japan with George, her father, and Kurosawa at dinner. And she's sitting on Ron's lap and falls asleep listening to those three guys talk about movies. Like, if anyone was born, raised, like, she's just,
You don't end up
It's-
not
she-
talented
Yeah.
and
she-
like going through that.
She does a really great job at combining, I feel like, all three sensibilities and visual styles of the trilogies. You've got the OT stuff, obviously, like we're saying, the prequels had a big, heavy hand in this episode. But like we said, there's a lot of original trilogy stuff, Becca's Canyon. There's a lot of really fun little Easter eggs. I think the big stick that Leia has in A New Hope to, get the trash
Block the-
compactor, crush
Yeah,
out
the trash compactor. Yeah.
the
mhm.
Jawas give her. But there's a lot of new things in there that feel very Lucas as well. Like one of the things I loved was the dinosaur rooster that wakes up Tatooine.
yeah.
I must know more.
Fun idea.
Yes.
It looked like. Did y'all ever see Dinosaur that moved like weird?
Dude, I love
Did I
that
see
freaking-
The old one?
Yes.
The
Yeah.
McDonald's hand
Yes.
puppets
Yeah.
they
Oh,
would
slap.
give you.
Watch that a lot.
Yes.
It looked
Yes.
like those
I
like
had those hand
egg
puppets.
eater raptors or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like just
Mhm.
Yes.
it was cool. It was really really cool.
Yeah. And then throwing in a little bit of Fallen Order, like we talked
Mhm.
about. So you got some new creatures in Fallen Order.
Yeah.
Lots of insert shots, either of the Womp Rat on the track, or it's full of all these small things showing us the interior of that I'm not going to say a cruise liner, because I know those are nicer in Star Wars, but like this Tatooine Air bus this shuttle.
Tattooing
Was it Star
Greyhound,
Tours?
basically.
Yeah,
Is it like
this,
officially Star Tours?
this actual canon Star
Uh-huh.
Tours. She's just magnificently talented, and also credit to, of course, to the DP for the episode, Dave Klein.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure it's Dave Klein. It's Dave Klein and Dean Cundy all season. Dave Klein went from shooting Clerks on black and white in a convenience store all with Kevin all the way to shooting this.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I think he's talked about that in the show, just like talking to him about it and just geeking out at, like, he can't really say anything, but like, just like,
Yeah.
man, you went from Clerks to Star Wars, which is a jump.
Yeah.
What I think is really, really interesting, I think that, there were obviously a lot of great reveals, and you talked about the Fallen Order thing, but did anyone else think for like a millisecond, like when they saw BD1 or they saw BD, that like, is that BD1? Is Cal Kestis here? Or is Cal Kestis going to be part of this muscle that we're going to get in the next few
Nikki?
episodes?
I plead the fifth.
I'm gonna throw it to Nikki first.
I won't say
Did
what
Nikki think it was?
I won't say
BD1?
what I said before. I'll get in trouble.
What is it? Just say it.
I was like, I hope it's BD1 because that means he ditched Cal Kestis' crusty ass in a ditch somewhere.
Connor is gonna come at you.
Connor has entered the chat.
Oh my god.
Connor is
Okay.
Connor is furiously typing right now.
Oh, it's so funny.
Jesus.
I thought maybe it would be. I mean, look, Cal. All I'm saying is, I mean, it doesn't even mean anything though, because I was gonna say Cal isn't in the original trilogy, but neither are Ezra, Ahsoka, and Thrawn, and they're all very much on the table. So it's like, who knows? I don't think it's BD1. I do think it's just a BD.
BD2.
There's even like a very early precursor to the BDs in Daniel Jose Older's Trail of Shadows. There's one that hangs
the
out on Emmerich's
CDs?
shoulder. Boo. I'm gonna drink
Gotta
a
take
little
that
bit
one in.
more.
Fair.
But yeah, it was great to see. I love his little feet.
Little
dance.
stompy stomp.
great.
Little tippy
Yeah.
tap.
Yeah, a little tippy tap,
Little tippy tap.
pitter
love how
patter
they-
of baby feet.
They also got the little light in the back of his head
Mhm.
really well.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm.
And I like seeing what you do in the game where he can like scan and like
Yes.
show
That was
you where
great.
things
Yeah.
belong,
Yeah.
and he helped them build the ship.
It was a great, a great way to take a mechanic and turn it into an actual visualized.
It translated
and-
really well.
It did, and I also love that. Like every time we see Pelly, the droid squad is bigger because it used to just be the pit droids. Then R5 got a job,
Mhm.
and now BD is there, and there's a gonk.
Mhm.
Also, that one joke that she has about was it smoother than a gonk's
Scomp Jack.
Scomp Jack. It's like that's
A
definitely
gonk?
smoother than someone's asshole. Like, that's what that means, right? Like
It has to.
a Scomp Jack is even the same shape. Anyway, I hope that next time she's got like a droideka that's been refitted to roll stuff around.
Oh,
Like,
I would love to
Christ.
see one of those.
I hope her droids get way more and more concerning. Super battle droid.
Death Trooper. Not Death Trooper. Dark Trooper.
A dark trooper, an
Just punch the
HK
wall.
unit, like yeah,
K2.
I could definitely use some B1s around here.
Can we
There
talk
was-
about?
yeah.
I just wanted to say, like, shout out to the production team because
Mhm.
with the Rogue One stuff, that design for the KX droid, I think is one of the best designs in Star Wars because the way that they can make you go from K2, what a lovely character, like I love him so much, to this is pure
It's the
horrifying
scariest thing I've ever
Terminator
seen.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's the exact same design.
And
It's
like
just so good.
just seeing the Night of if you guys said this before, I'm sorry. Seeing the Night of 1,000 Tears and like it clearly being a Terminator homage.
Yeah.
I just
And that's
I-
also super Bryce too, because she says in chapter 11 when he's crash landing on Trask and before the Mon Cal gets him out of the water, that she says that's Apollo 13. That's her tribute to her dad.
wasn't
So she's doing these movies in her
Am-
work.
And then
Am I-
Jurassic Park.
In Jurassic Park, yeah.
was
Or-
Bryce
Mm.
Dallas Howard in Terminator Salvation? Did I make that up?
Yeah, she is.
There,
She
you see,
is?
there you go.
Yeah.
You
I think
see,
so, yeah. Is she?
I think so.
did I
That movie's forgettable as hell.
exactly. So like
Whoopsie
she could be in
doo.
that, or
Da-da-da.
It was either her or Jessica Chastain. Like I always get them confused for some reason. It's just red hair in Hollywood, which as a redhead myself, that's probably sacrilege, but it is what it is. I think a satisfying thing for me was just hearing, going back to BD, the sounds that I've like when you would open a treasure chest in Fallen Order, and like seeing that in live action and it working really, really well, I thought was really like it's just little stuff like that I think the episode does really, really well. And we were talking about like the muscle. What other muscle do you think they're going to bring in? Like I think we talked about this a little bit, Trey and Alden, before, but I'm kind of curious to hear everybody else what's the quote unquote muscle that they're going to start bringing in for this big war against the Pikes. And Noah, you want to go ahead and start? Who do you think the muscle is?
I need to see Embo with his hat throwing around. That would be
So
amazing.
cool.
And Dave Filoni voicing him. That would be incredible.
Awesome. Tori, who do you want to see, and who do you think we'll see?
I haven't even thought about this. You stumped me. I'm like,
sorry.
well,
I'm so
no,
sorry.
don't be sorry at all. This is a really good question. I mean, obviously, size noodles, which is not realistic at all.
Can't shoot.
She's shooting.
It's true,
Yeah.
and she's killed a hut before. I mean, how many people can say that?
You gave an answer on our show that I don't know if you remember that you said it. Not this past episode. You gave it like 2 episodes ago, I think. 1 or
What did
2.
I say?
You said that you would love to see Dave Lompop.
That's true. That's true. That's
Dave
true.
Lompop from the War of the Bounty Hunters and High Republic, for those of you that
That's very true.
are like catching up.
Honestly, I mean, I love all the bounty hunters. I'm cool for whoever shows up. I would assume that he probably reaches out to some of his bounty hunter contacts, right? Tuscan's also crossed my mind. If there's any that maybe he's in contact with, I don't know. But at the same time, I'm like, please don't let anything else happen to them.
Mhm.
Maybe don't.
I think that's a at dawn look to the east moment for sure. Like the hunter comes in at the end.
There's too much like nodding and winking. Even last episode, Fennec's like, Tuscan's got taken out by Nikto gang. I don't think so. It's so there's just a little too much of the like. I think the first episode, the guy's like, we're good at hiding, and it's like, I think there's just a little too many things where it's like, I feel like they're coming.
Yeah, at least in some capacity, if not a mixture of tribes or something.
And Fighter Lady, we didn't see Fighter Lady's body.
We didn't see her body.
Exactly.
That's true. I think she's still out there.
We're going. Gaffy stick sharpened. We're going.
So,
and then of course Kira, but I mean, I don't know if she'd want to help him.
So that mentioning that, I'm like, if I had to put a percentage on it, I'd say I'm up to like 65% sure that she's going to be in it at some like if she's not, like you'll get a mention because she showed up in the comics. She's got her own series,
absolutely,
right?
yeah.
She has her own series right now, and she like Emilia Clarke has said like, yeah, I'd love to do it again. So like you have this show which is dealing with the Pikes, which is dealing with the underworld, and she's a prominent figure in the underworld.
Also, it's like, I don't want to be that guy that's ever like, that's not good enough, whatever. Like, yeah, trust him to tell the story. I personally don't find the Pike boss, as voiced by the great Phil Lamar, to be an A villain type.
And that's
there's something else.
As much as I like Dryden Voss, he wasn't the head of Crimson Dawn. It was Darth Maul.
Mm-hmm.
There's a head. The Pikes are. I think at this point in the galaxy, and like, I haven't been keeping up with the comics. I think that Crimson Dawn is probably in charge of the Pikes.
They're around right now, and going back to Dryden, he says we maintain a fragile alliance with the Pikes. That's why the Kessel Run happens, is to preserve the alliance with the Pikes.
So like, Kira, like, she makes the most sense. Like, and I know there's been talk of like some de-aged legacy characters showing up. I don't think that makes sense. I think
I think that could happen because I feel like I know a lot of people have been saying like this show is obviously going to be 1 season.
Yeah.
But if I were to, I was very much of like, I wonder how they're going to wrap this up. I wasn't sure. I was like, yeah, they're not going to bring legacy characters in.
Yeah.
I don't
There's
think
no way this show is 1 season
until this episode ended with I'm going to go see the little guy.
Mm-hmm.
now I'm like, well, if we do see potentially Luke, that could be an interesting place to have another certain character pop up. And
Well-
if Kira were to be the big threat, or like teased as the big threat for next season, I think an unlikely duo team of having to work together could be Han and Boba. That would be a really
You
fun,
see,
like, you know,
that
be
makes
awesome.
that makes sense to me, but like the legacy character I was talking about was Han. Like, I think there are rumors that he's going to show up in this season.
Look,
In like,
if it's
that-
gonna
I
be
hope it's
Han,
Alden though.
So I
Yeah,
think
if
that's
it's gonna
why
be Han,
It
has
better
to
be
Alden.
Alden, and it better be
Yes,
Alden
be Alden.
Diaz.
yeah, exactly. That's 100%
Right.
true.
That's not what I was
Alden on
saying. I want
yeah,
to
tell
Alden and
clarify.
Alden, baby.
That's right, Tori. Why do you have to sink my dreams live on air? This is my shot.
that's what I'm saying. I feel like next season could be Han and Boba having to be the unlikely duo that have to work together.
A buddy
Because obviously-
cop with
It,
Han.
it
and
feels
Boba.
like if he showed up right now, like if he asked him to like be the muscle to like help him in the war with the Pikes, that would not make a lot of sense to me. But like,
I mean, he
Yeah.
has a son.
Like,
Well, if
right
he,
now.
yeah, if Luke's
Yeah.
hanging out with his nephew, he's like,
Well,
what the heck?
that's
He
the other
died.
thing, though, Charlie. You mentioned Luke. I think that the Grogu thing is no functionality for the show whatsoever. I think that that's not a
Season
negative.
3 tease.
It's a season 3 tease. We might see that maybe this gift drop off is the pre-credits cold open of 3. Then we'll get to the present in 3.
Mhm.
It's just to get Din out of episode 5 or out of episode
Yeah.
6. That way, during the battle of 7, he can show up as
Yeah.
Calvary. I mean,
Mhm.
it is. I mean, we talked about it with Holly Fry. It is asking to be you're all clear, kid. Let's blow this thing and go home.
Mhm.
Like Din on the N1 coming in when Boba thinks all hope is lost, and then he's like, "That's my mate," like something like that. Like it's
My best friend.
Oh,
my
I
best
know
friend.
you say that. That makes
one hell of a
Is
pilot.
that my best friend?
I know you said that makes sense, like story wise, but I'm just saying, like next episode when Din, Luke, Sabine, who else? Thrawn shows up.
Yeah,
Jack
it's
Rendar.
gonna be so much fun.
Bendu.
You're gonna be laughing, you know. You're gonna be laughing. Han Solo
Sam
comes in a
Witwer as
mythosaur
live action Star Killer.
and
Yeah.
Darth
Bill,
Maul.
can I give
diversity.
my answer?
Yeah, absolutely.
Want to
Sorry.
show up?
As long as it's not
Absolutely.
Dengar.
Oh,
Oh,
David
baby.
Beckham.
Yes.
glob on that
It feels
cob,
right.
daddy.
Oh,
feels right.
Davey.
They got it. You know what? You're right. They have to call him. He's right there.
That's what you want.
He's right.
He comes
there.
in on his
He's
cool
the
ass
neighborhood
speeder.
over.
God,
He's got
Oh,
the best
Villagers.
Villagers
speeder.
with him.
Didn't
I
get
will
him a
cry if I see
chainmail.
that man.
Yeah.
again.
I'm
For
so
the
glad-
audio listeners, we're talking about Cobb Vanth. I just showed
I'm
my
so
Cobb
glad
Vanth
you
shirt.
said that because like we when I asked the question of muscle, I thought like Dengar, Bosk, all those people. If Cobb Vanth shows up, oh my god,
Noah's
I-
suggesting Plo Koon.
What about, what
He's
about
back. He's back in a major way.
I
baby.
mean,
F's
they
comment?
have the concept art, so
Me,
Yeah.
once again, I'm showing up.
Alden-
I
Alden
guess I
showing
have
up.
to love someone.
Who is
It's
it?
Frog Lady.
Yes.
Corey showing Frog Lady.
Child
showing a
Anakin
young
as a
Anakin.
Lego.
That would be wild.
I got
Stop it.
Casca Reeves is going to be in the
Casca
episode.
A Brachiosaurus.
There.
Sorry to just bounce back.
That's later. That's the mythosaur.
Sam Wilson confirmed for this episode.
Hang on, I don't know if you can
Everybody
see this,
reaching for anything in the
Everybody grab
immediate
your nerdy
vicinity.
the Queen of England.
An Xbox controller.
Ooh, is that a Hot Toys?
Unhinged.
The queen
Yes.
of
Nice.
The Queen.
Count Dooku.
Can I just
Ugh.
jump back into? Sorry, just to jump back.
Yes. Sorry, we got silly for a second. Get back
With
to
that,
the serious
with that
point.
flashback, the tears of the Knights of 1,000 Tears.
Mhm.
I'm really interested to see Sabine's reaction because I don't know about you guys, but that shot with the big
I'm interested to
Imperial
see Sabine,
dome-
period. Yeah.
But that big shot, the Imperial dome exploding, that reminded me a lot of Rebels and the Fall,
Oh, yeah.
like a sort of a counteract. So I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see her point of view. Does she feel like guilt in some way?
Because it's like
Push?
you're so right. Because Sabine guarded Lothal as a promise, and Lothal prospered to be this beautiful futurist city. And then while she was gone, yeah, I mean Sabine again, she is the child torn between all these identities. She's committed
she's
war
part of the
crime
curse.
against her own people. She's part of the curse. She enacted the giving of the saber to launch the curse. She's also intimately tied, as Nikki pointed out to me the other day. We were talking about Sabine, and he goes, "Remember that she's got Ezra's lightsaber on her belt." You know, at the end of the show. Yeah, she keeps the green when Ezra leaves to confront Thrawn.
She's got it.
She's got the
Ezra
green
leaves it for
saber.
her.
He leaves it for her. So
And
it's like
I have watched the ending of that show so many times. How the hell did I not notice that?
they don't even make that much of a thing of it, really. But she uses it to crash the window when they get out after Ezra goes up.
So sidebar, she's definitely going to use that when she
She's
shows
back in
up.
heat.
I mean, look, Natasha Leo Bordizzo that they cast in the role allegedly. It's not on StarWars.com yet, but a Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, real websites. They decided to cast her, and she's a martial artist. She does weapons training. Like she's
God damn that.
like this. I don't know. Again, if Din is like, oh, this thing is so heavy, I don't know how to use it. How beautiful would it be to see Sabine pass on Kanan's lessons to
Sabine
Din?
shows up in this show, I will fucking drop dead. That would be my perfect this would be my favorite thing ever. Sabine, I love Sabine. I mean, one person here has a Sabine tattoo on them. I'm sure Alden would also drop dead. That would be amazing.
And then Spite would
I don't think
resurrect
it'll
me.
happen. But, yeah.
No, yeah, I think that I don't know if she's on the table. Yeah, I don't think she's on the table for this show, but Mando season 3 and Ahsoka confirmed mostly, almost confirmed. Mando season 3 likely, but I think that the last person on the table for this final fight that has not come up yet is the fastest draw in the West, Cad Bane.
That's
that one.
So do you think if Cad Bane does show up, do you think he's with the Pikes? Do you think he's somebody that Boba recruits?
No, he's just mad at Boba. No one invited him. He just
No one invited him. It's like Batman v Superman.
It's like Maleficent.
with
He
you.
shows up. He's like, "You didn't invite me. What's going on?"
I thought he was with you. Yeah, like
She's with you.
I would
very
love it if he
intrigued.
shows up on the Pikes team and then Boba's like, unpack all the credits, and he turns mid-fight, and they pay him off like in the middle, and he just turns on the Pikes. Like,
What percentage chance? And I'm getting into percentages again. I'm sorry. That's what my default.
No, I
Or the
love
Vegas
that.
odds.
Let's go.
What percentage chance that season 1 of Book of Boba Fett ends in a duel at noon, when the sun
a standoff, high noon.
standoff at high noon between Boba and Cad Bane?
I think that might
Part
be too
two.
much, maybe.
Look, I feel like I hope he does a better job than his clone brother Hunter,
Yep.
because
Wow.
Hunter didn't even get a shot off on Cad. He hit little buddy over here, and it's not great. And Hunter's supposed to be.
Boba's
Go ahead.
faster because he's got no hair. He's more aerodynamic.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
It's not understood
He
that
doesn't
Boba's already
have that
got it
massive
before.
hat, you know.
I'm still waiting for and Nikki and I have been talking about this since last June, July, the season 2 Bad Batch Crosshair versus Cad Bane.
Dude,
Like,
I wanted it in season 1.
like
The
Still
toothpick bowl.
waiting.
Toothpick bowl.
Toothpick Bowl. Oh, that's even better than Chrysanthemum Bowl. That's
Yeah.
the best.
No, it was Wookie bowl.
Wookiee Bowl is if Chewbacca shows up as muscle. And
I think I have
yeah.
The thing about Cad Bane is I want to see him and Boba talk. I want to see them together. I don't know if I want it here because I feel like I
in
want-
a
I want
relationship
time.
or just like.
I mean, whatever they
Yes.
feel like.
Oh,
I won't push them in either way. But I mostly
lady.
just want to see
Brokeback
them.
Mountain and
Yeah.
this Western
I
side.
wish I could quit. Wait, no, hold on. Can you say?
I can't do Cad Bane.
No. Do your
Oh, no.
Tamura Morrison. I wish I could quit you.
I wish I could quit you, Cad.
There you go. There you
wish I knew how
go.
to quit you.
Oh,
Coming up here twice
a year
for a fuck.
my
annual fuck.
No.
But yeah, no, I was gonna say I want time for them because that is a really interesting relationship that they have.
Mhm.
If we consider that, the story reels are understood parts of the story, then Cad Bane showed Boba the ropes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He is who he is as much as anyone else because of Cad Bane too. And if that's all still understood, then they had that fateful shootout already. And Cat has a Durasteel forehead because of Boba.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that it'll be more, for me at least, more rewarding to have them to like give them time to talk about something than as opposed to, well, I'm just here to help these lizard folks, guy. And
That wasn't bad.
Dude, that's
we're
good.
trying, we're trying.
It wasn't good either, but it wasn't bad.
My first show back.
That's all you can really hope for.
So,
I mean,
we're working towards it. I didn't see anyone else try it, so there we go.
No,
that's all you, man. That's all you.
And yeah, I think there's a lot of like interesting territory, especially when we've seen this show not afraid to take its time on things. I think that would be a really cool sort of duo to sort of dig into. And so I don't exactly want him here. It'd be cool to see him, but I want more time.
I do. I think that's understandable, and like I think if he were to show up, I think and this is just me guessing. I think that this next episode is going to war. Boba's kicking the Pikes' ass, and the Pikes are like, "We need a team, or we need somebody." And like the last shot is Cad Bane getting recruited by Kira or something like that. Like, we need your help, like something like that, because
or someone
Kind
goes
of a
down,
Suicide
like
Squad.
yeah.
or he.
What are we? We need some kind of Suicide Squad.
I think it's like fully within the realm of possibility that Cad Bane shows up as a shocking reveal and just blows someone away.
Yep.
Just kills one of the people on Team Boba. Team Boba's getting pretty big. You have several mods that are not Drash. They can all die.
It really got me.
Protect Drash at all costs.
Yeah, if Drash dies, oof, it's gonna be one too many. But
she's the hot robotic girl, right?
yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it'd be nice if you could put some respect on her. But
The only one who matters.
God, it's my wife you're talking about, Bill.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yes, no, she is the hot robotic girl.
Cool.
But
I'm
oh no, go ahead, Charles.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying I'm less interested in the idea of who could come back in terms of previous character bounty hunters as muscle, and I'm more interested in learning about which Robert Rodriguez returning cast members could come back or make a new role. Like, show me Tony Shalhoub in Star Wars.
Tony Shalhoub.
Show me
Banderas.
Give us Cheech.
Antonio
Tori.
Banderas.
Yes.
Antonio
Absolutely.
Banderas.
As
Just bring back everyone from Spy Kids.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, exactly.
Alexa
God.
Vega.
I want Junie. I want Alan Cummings. I want.
Cortez family.
Thumb.
Cortez family is like a bounty hunting group. They all work
Sylvester
together.
Stallone.
Oh, okay. Let me paint a picture for you.
Level.
Let me paint a picture.
Okay.
They're standing off. It's a bunch of droids, a bunch of Pikes, everybody on the street.
I know
And,
where this is going.
and Dan is standing here, Boba's standing here, and Fennec's standing here, and Boba goes, "You take the 500 on the left. You take the 500 on the right." And they do, and then they do a fist pose like the end of Spy Kids
But
one.
there's another 100.
We need one more, and that's when it's like a purple arrow. And
Oh
it's
my God,
Omega.
Steve Buscemi.
We've talked about Spy Kids. Is Robert Rodriguez
Jeremy Renner's
Shark
Hawkeye.
Boy and Lava Girl too?
Yes.
Is that him?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, y'all are forgetting
Taylor
the most
Lautner.
important- Taylor Lautner's coming back. The
Taylor
Lava
Lautner.
Girl,
Elijah Wood's character
girl.
from
George
Resistance.
Lopez.
George Lopez.
What did you say, Charlie?
What was Elijah Wood's character from Resistance called?
Oh,
Emily
Emily
Osment.
Osment. Yeah, with the
Yeah.
flying pigtails. Oh, his in Resistance, it's blah, 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 it's that blonde asshole.
He shows up as like a baby, and he goes, "I'm the one."
The one.
That
Yeah,
immediately dies. You know,
the guy.
Rucklin. Jace Rucklin.
Jace Rucklin. That's right.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Everyone's favorite.
Tony Shalhoub's Embo would be great.
What a ridiculously great casting. It's just. Oh, of course it comes from Chris Swift.
His face, he's so happy about it.
He's so pleased. That picture of Chris's face is his face right now.
Only if Maroc is also there.
Alan Cummings is live action campaign.
That'd be great. He's already done blue. He's already done blue.
That's true. He's
Yeah.
already done blue. But really, though, like in all seriousness, I think Tori and I've talked about this. If it's Cad, it's just going to be some, it's going to be a Brendan Wayne in a mask, and then they're just going to bring Corey Burton back, right? Like that's one of those characters that you don't have to spend money on someone.
Is there a worry that like that character has exclusively? Geez, the bourbon's coming out. Is exclusively in animation, that seeing him in live action might be a little weird. I have full faith that it.
I feel like we broke through that glass
Mm-hmm.
too many times now, right?
It's true.
Or do you mean like because he's an animated character, or do you mean specifically with his alien head?
I think because he's specifically an animated character, and because of the alien head, I think it like there are just sometimes things don't translate well.
Yeah,
and
no, that's a good point. Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of worry, but like God, when Ahsoka first showed up in Mandalorian, I was like immediately like, nope, no worries at all. Like,
I think you have to do mocap for a good Cad.
After the way the Trandoshans have been handled, I feel like it would be fine.
It's a really good.
Like how cool to see how animated they are now.
Mm-hmm. That's why Bosk will show up too. He's gonna look good.
Bask. He has to.
Like, Alden and Holly and I talking about our ending, having Boba and Bosk hug it out.
Or Chrysanthemum and Bosk. Chrysanthemum and Bosk hug it out. Boba gives them a little speech about brotherhood. He's like, "You guys better hug before you leave." Oh, that'd be great.
As long as the whole thing ends like the post credits of Avengers, but they're all having drinks at Madame Garza's.
Garza's. Well, speaking of Garza's, you talked about Rodriguez. The other hallmark of Rodriguez stuff is people firing rockets and bullets out of their instruments. I've been saying we need them to break into Garza's sanctuary. The fight gets in there, and Max starts playing some keys, and it starts firing weapons, starts firing blaster bolts at people, and the guitar guy kills a guy. Like
that's when Tyson shows up.
I won't rest until we get a figure that's released and is subsequently cancelled because it's too dangerous for kids. That says rocket-powered Max Rebo keyboard set.
Yeah, man, that sounds awesome. It'd be great if Garza got in on the fight too. She's got to have a nice, like, really fancy blaster, sort of like the ones that Zori has that are sort of like 1700s looking. Like she could totally rock something classy like that.
We need that Kira like double barrel one.
Ooh,
I was thinking of Kira's too. Yeah,
a great blaster.
It's a classy blaster.
It's
Truly.
It's a blaster.
Well, before we kind of wrap up, I want to go around and kind of get a rating out of 10 where we re-rank the episode. And any final thoughts, or if y'all want to talk about anything else about the episode, I'm game for anything, but let's go around, rate, and then kind of go from there. So let's start with Noah. Out of 10, what would you rate this episode?
Probably 9.5, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's really good. Yeah, I agree.
yeah. It was just not enough 10, so
Not enough
that
10.
puts it down a little bit. But otherwise, I loved it.
You don't have enough 10,
Very fair.
you don't get a
Yeah.
10. That's the policy.
It's
That's
a
the
0 out of
policy.
10, really. I mean,
That's true.
Out of 10, 0 out of 10.
yeah.
Tori, where does this rank for you? And you can rank it by, is this your favorite episode of the series so far? What do you give it out of 10?
Like an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
But kind of for context, really, because again,
Mhm.
very, very good otherwise.
I got you. Nikki, what about you, bud?
Yeah. Well, I give everything 10 out of 10. By principle, I give everything 10 out of 10. So yeah, I think it was just a special entry in Star Wars TV.
Mhm.
I think it's one we all kind of like had a
Delicious.
blast over.
Mhm.
And that always feels really good. I think I didn't like specifically talk about this earlier, so I'll just say, like, for me, the way I sort of perceived the Book of Boba Fett it almost to me felt like the Mandalorian DLC. Like this, like the way it was introduced. I think someone even said it was Mandalorian season 2.5, like in promotion, like last year. I think that happened. So to me, it always felt like this is still very much the same sort of package. And so for me, seeing Din again was not jarring. It just felt like if he's gonna come into this show,
It wasn't Din jarring.
Jarring.
I was
I
thinking
knew
that
you'd do it.
too.
Yeah.
No.
We're all trapped.
Good
No.
night, everybody. You know.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It
So
was just a matter of who got to it first.
Oh God.
I think getting to see a more extended, I think he's earned the extended time to see what he's been up to in this universe. It all just feels very interconnected to me. So yeah, it didn't feel like a departure in any weird way to me. So yeah, I think it's super cool, and I'm excited to see what Boba and Fennec keep having up their sleeves, and two more awesome episodes to come.
For sure. Charlie, what about you, bud?
There's a scene in this episode where Din Djarin, our recent hero of late, lands an N1 starfighter. The cockpit opens up, and he says the word "wizard." 9 out of 10.
Just that specifically for that.
That moment is just encapsulated in my brain. It sits there, And do you know what? There's so much joy in the way that line's delivered.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you can tell he's having the time of his life.
Which is then encapsulated even more, like just made it even better by the fact that he tweeted out "wizard." I was like,
He also misspelled Boba with 2 B's in his tweet, which was amazing.
Did that remind anyone of Robot Chicken when he's like, Mr. Bob, a feet?
Yeah.
There was also, what else reminded me of Robot Chicken in this episode was the conveyor belt thing. No one, because Din's putting all his stuff in to get through the gate. All I could think of was the Emperor Palpatine conveyor belt.
And then I lost my luggage.
I have to admit that like I didn't see the episode until later in the day, so like I saw some tweets that were like the word wizard is we're all using the word wizard again. I definitely thought that Kitster was coming back. Like I thought that like they were going to Tatooine.
He's part of the muscle.
He's the muscle, yeah.
He is the muscle.
He is
the
the
muscle we didn't know we needed. He's just there.
Oh,
old
now I
lady
want foot
from-
and beat pop up. Oh, man.
Old lady
He's the
from
big
episode
bad.
9.
He's the
Yeah.
It's not Kira, it's just
of the Pikes.
Who is it? It's a Kira something. I don't know. Kira? Yeah, maybe. No, it's
you can
Kitster.
call me Kitster.
Finish the race, of course.
Man, he deserved to get his ass kicked for that. I'm still upset about it. I just like remember in that deleted scene where Anakin was beating Greedo's ass. He should have tackled him just like that.
Finish
Like,
the race, of course.
How dare you? I think that's we might need to do a special episode, a special crossover with all of our shows. The top 10 dick moments in Star Wars. That's in
Undercutting
there.
your homie. It's
Undercut-
rough.
Jokes on you. I'm free.
Well, that's that great Kitster's face when Qui-Gon is lifting him up. Where you can see how Kitster just looks dead inside while it's happening.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Oh, it's great.
So Alden, finish the race, of course. What is your rating?
I abstain religiously from rating out of 10 or from stars.
I'm so sorry. You've
Alden
done
does
that.
not have a letterbox.
You
then?
said that 3
I
times.
do have a letterbox, but my stars mean nothing.
Okay.
My stars are just a complete
Your
review.
whole
They mean
argument is
nothing.
invalid then.
That they my letterbox slaps. All right, it doesn't slap as hard as Jess's, but it does slap.
Jess's is very good
It's awesome. You should just link it
Yeah.
below, no matter
Yeah,
what, even if
just-
she's not on.
for sure.
But yeah, I felt like Din saying that actually. Stars and numbers are against my religion. It's great though. It's my second favorite of the season. It's one of my favorite. Chapter 2, still the best one. The Tribes of Tatooine, but it's such a special place. Talking about it with Tori and Holly, and then with all of you today, it's that feeling of the walls of, and there's always going to be I'm an animated Star Wars fan, I'm a prequels fan, I'm an originals kid, I'm a sequels kid. Like that's always going to be there. But the walls have never been more thoroughly obliterated than they have been in this show. And Solo. I always credit Solo with starting it for being a film about one of the original trio with things like the Pikes, with Maul, with original characters. Like that was where it started. And then Mandalorian season 2 broke it down even more, and this just kicked it down,
Yep.
obliterated it. Like the walls are gone.
Mhm.
And I'm excited to see what that means for the future of the show. I think this is a beautiful episode, beautifully made, beautifully directed by a beautiful human being. Bryce, if you're watching, what's up?
That'd be sick.
But that would be sick if she was watching. That'd be
So
Wizard,
fucking
man.
wizard.
But yeah, it's fantastic.
And my co-host and good friend Trey, how would you rate it?
Well, I think kind of going, we haven't really touched on this, but something really important to me in this show was Din talking to the armorer and she just being like, have you ever taken off your helmet? And him kind of stuttering and not being able to tell. And then finally, he's kind of excommunicated from the system that he's always been in. And I think, not to get too deep here, but like, I know some people have like grown up in the church and there are certain things that have related to certain people. And that really struck to me because, you know, you grow up in this system and then suddenly you become an adult and the system no longer is as black and white as to you as it was before. And I really found that moment very powerful. But overall, just this episode was so amazing to me. It's one of my favorite pieces of Star Wars media to come out in recent history. I thought it had everything that I liked in Star Wars. And I guess if I were to rate it, 10 out of 10, it was amazing. I guess 9.99 because it would have been great if Boba Fett showed up at all. But it was.
That's
it was
how you
awesome.
make it. Tem to make it a 10. Just remember that.
Correct.
10, yeah.
Mickey.
And it was.
Hey, I'm like Alden. I give 10s for everything. Except I use a number. But
He does it just to mess with the averages.
yeah,
Yeah,
just
it was
to
also
shake
my
the people who goes, there's no such thing as a perfect anything. I'm done with those people.
Okay.
He's back. He's back, lads.
He's back.
You sound like you wrote an editorial for Star Wars Newsnet tonight.
Oh,
I'm
Me?
sorry. That came at that.
Me?
Sorry.
The opposite.
Anyway,
It doesn't know what it wants to be, though.
Doesn't know what it
neither
wants
do
to
I.
be.
So it's fine.
I'll say I can relate.
I very much relate. And I kind of mirroring where everybody. I'm a little bit more. I kind of in between an 8 and a 10, so I'm going to go 8.7539. Is my official score for this episode. I think it was
Reasonable.
really well done. I enjoyed how it sets up season 3 of Mandalorian while also being like it's being a great episode of the Book of Boba Fett. So really enjoyed it, and yeah, can't wait to see what happens next week when Cad Bane shows up with Kira.
He's
So,
coming.
yeah.
Holding hands, best friends.
He's a
Best
coming.
friends forever.
Oh boy, here we go.
He's a coming, baby.
No.
He's
You
back.
have that Black
No.
Series figure?
He's back.
That's
Papa
awesome.
Dave.
I love it. I love it.
That's amazing.
Any final thoughts before we wrap up, y'all?
On that note, I just wanted to say that seeing Carson Teva again was a treat. A treat.
Oh yeah, Carson
Max
with
Lloyd
the
Jones, too.
Max
Give
Lloyd
that man
Jones.
everything.
He's the king.
Every
He's awesome.
Um, One thing I'm glad Trey brought up about the sort of Din's journey with the armorer and that relationship of their the religion aspect. Something I really liked was she dropped that on him. She's like, "Well, you're not a Mandalorian. Get out of here." And then 5 seconds later, when the droid wants his stuff, he's like, "Yo, I'm a Mandalorian. I can't give you my stuff." So I love that
Yeah.
it did not phase him. He's just like, "Oh, screw this. I'm out of here. I don't need you guys. I've seen this stuff." It's it's the church kid who went to summer camp and went and did all this cool stuff, got a handy by the lake, and then
You too?
Speaking of experience,
came home and was like, "Yo, I've seen stuff." His mom is like, "What are you doing?"
I'm a
can't be like
man
that.
now.
Yeah, and he's like, "Okay, I'm out of
Do
here."
you know
This is
how
my
to
friend.
wield this?
So yeah, I thought that was a cool moment. It's fun to watch Din.
Was there a big
navigate
kid
this.
at camp too that came by and was like, "That's mine"?
My family had
My family has been by this lake for a generation.
my dad's.
This has been Tipsy Takes.
Yeah.
I feel bad because Trey's made that really beautiful point, like relating it to religion, and all I could think of in that scene was that's the cookie jar scene, where she's like, "Did you eat the last cookie in the cookie jar, Din?" And he's like, "He's the dog who's in trouble."
Yeah, he's like, maybe if I don't react, she'll just forget.
To drop it. Yeah, like, and then like she was 1 second away from counting to 10. You know, like 1 second away from like, Miss Din, come here right now.
Did you take your helmet off?
Yeah, I just yeah, Din is a much better person than me because I would have started yelling. I would have been like, "Well, when I met the hot redhead, she said that you were weird." It's
That was another thing. He approached her like he just found out about like a new trend or something, like a celebrity, and his mum is like very conservative and like he's like, "Yeah, have you heard of it, Lady Bo-Katan Freeze?" She's like,
yeah.
It's
It's like being like,
this.
"Mom, have you ever listened to Madonna?"
Have you ever read Marx? Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean it's so interesting, it's so rich, and it's like I joke, like it's almost like Star Wars is about stuff, and it's not just about your dumb power fantasies and your gamification and all of your badass Boba Fett. Who was it today? Was it Kyle Katarn on Twitter? I don't know your real last name, so it's just gonna be Katarn. Where he said people wanted the show to be about the Boba Fett they have tattooed on their body, not about the actual character. And it's like, got him. Like,
Love it.
Smoking gun.
Love it.
I love boobies.
Yeah.
That's what it's saying.
Okay, Charlie.
Is that just that's just Charlie just talking?
Yeah, that was just a declarative statement. It
Yeah.
had nothing to do with what was
I
going
understand. It's cool. Good for you, man.
It's
All right. And with that is our episode of Tipsy Takes tonight. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us, staying with us. I want to thank our wonderful, wonderful guests for dealing with our BS and dealing with me being late. Once again, I'm very, very sorry.
Don't apologize.
No.
No,
Very sorry.
no,
on.
no.
Good son.
No, please stop. No, please stop.
Okay,
No.
I will stop. And with that, Alden, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at that Alden Diaz, ThatAldenDiaz, tweeting a lot. And the more people tell me that's a reach, the more I do it. I am also on Octo Radio. We had Ash Crossan on the main show. We have Amanda Wertz coming up, but the one I recorded today, the next one you can immediately expect, is with Jaron Bachman Stubbs from Knights of the Nerd Republic, the Nerd Academy podcast network.
Sexy. Just
He's
a
all right.
beautiful man.
Yeah, he's a beautiful guy.
Sexy.
It's
And you
great
can tell him I said
episode.
that.
Great episode. Very, very political. You put the two of us together, and it's combustible elements, which is exciting. Mandatory and Creed. Well, I guess I'll let Tori plug that. That's her show.
Yeah, leave that alone.
And then, now that Nikki's back, Nikki can mention his as well. Well, I have both of you here. I don't have to do all the plugs. Yeah, if you're in the Orlando, Ocala area and you're interested in a really depressed artist, hit me up.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
Oh.
Excuse me, ma'am.
There's
live in
more
the
than one
same
depressed artist.
General area.
Tori and I live an hour apart. We've still never met, but we live an hour
That's
apart.
your fault.
It is my fault.
It's all good. It's all good. Awesome. No, where can the people find you, buddy?
Florida meetup. Let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. We were
Oh, yeah, where are you?
Trey and I.
I'm in St. Petersburg.
Oh,
I'm in Lexington, Kentucky, and I've met Trey. Trey, I flew to Trey. What's
No.
What's Alden's excuse?
Alden?
exactly.
It's okay. I'll cut. It'll be good.
I even flew to Nikki. I flew across the country with 2 days notice to Nikki.
Well, I'm trying to get Tori to. I'm not trying to get. I just mentioned it once, but I want to fly with Tori to Anaheim for a celebration.
No.
Yeah, it'd be so rad.
No.
Wait, raise your hand if you're going to Celebration.
Well, I mean, maybe. I mean, what's going on, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Kind of
Provided that
a-
there is a
Tickets.
celebration.
Yeah, exactly. Noah, where can the people find you, bud?
You can find me at Keldor Jedi on Twitter, where I share my love for Plo Koon, Ochif Bastoon, and the High Republic.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you for coming on. Charlie, where can they find you?
Can I just say shout out to Noah for being so awesome and
Yes.
you nailed it.
Yeah, correct.
For his first
Thank you.
time,
Correct.
brave, bold, intelligent.
Like to put up with these egos.
Sexy. Yeah.
You guys,
deserve a
you
medal.
guys don't know how funny Noah is.
Yep.
Like,
No, he's
No,
fine.
what's the funniest
I've
guy
seen
ever.
some stuff.
I've
I've seen words said by
that
this
Ochi
man.
Nikki has a lot of blackmail material on me. So,
I have a whole folder on my iPhone photos of Noah. I have like 14 photos. It's just the title is just Noah, so he's an amazing lad.
But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at CMWASHBY. And don't forget to check out the Imperial Senate podcast. We just released our episode 5 review of the Book of Boba Fett with our good friend Clarice Lockwood, who is the film editor for The Independent and also does the Fade to Black podcast. Really amazing guest, really great takes, and we just sort of dive into
Smart as hell.
very smart, and we just dive into everything. We dive into like daddy issues in terms of Din and Boba and how they connect. We talk about Jabba Cox, and we talk about we come up with the idea of crossovers in Disney. You can make this happen.
Mm-hmm.
We want to see Amy Sedaris and a Jabba in a Star Wars version of Pam and Tommy.
They do own Hulu. That is true.
That's a Hulu show if I've ever heard.
That's true.
So check out if you want to hear more about that. Check out
wait, can I say
episode
something real
on
quick before
YouTube.
Charlie's done?
Yes.
Can we get a round of applause for Charlie Ashby on being a brand new digital marketing apprenticeship? He just started a new
Yeah,
gig.
brother.
Charlie.
yeah.
Charlie is now an apprentice at a company over there in England,
That's
and
nice.
he's got that new
You're
gig.
doing amazing.
Want to
Thank
give him
you.
that shout out.
Congratulations, buddy. That's awesome. Oh, so good. I love it.
on the up and up.
Absolutely.
It's
Tori.
over for you bitches. Charlie's back.
Tori, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Mandatorian it's the Mandalorian with the T instead of the L.
I get it
and
now.
then just for spelling purposes.
Okay, I got
No. And then you can catch me on the Octo Radio Network for the Mandalorian Creed. We are covering each of these Book of Boba Fett episodes, and we just recorded an awesome one with Holly Fry, Alden, and I. So that'll be out soon. But yeah,
Awesome. You and you were wonderful as well. Thank you so much.
you're wonderful. Thank you.
Stop it. You
The best.
stop
No,
The
thank
best.
you.
Stop it. Nikki, my friend.
Yeah, you
Where can
can
we find you?
find me at Naquicious, Naquicious on Twitter. I've been away from podcasting for some time, but I am normally on the Imperial Senate podcast as well at Infinite Pod. I do the One and Done Film Club with Alden and our friend Reed, where we watch movies and they're fun. So check that out if you like to watch movies as well. And
I do like to watch movies.
There we go. We got a show for you, man.
Wow,
And-
buddy.
And then I do the rewatch a rewatch Between Worlds on the Octo Radio network as well, where Alden and I are rewatching all of Star Wars Rebels and all of the Rebels recons that go with the episodes and all sorts of other great stuff, interviews to come. Anything associated with Rebels is on the table. So looking forward to getting those all back into motion. And yeah, that's where you can find what I'm up to.
Awesome. And finally, my co-host, my friend, my Trey. Trey, where can they find you, buddy?
On Twitter.com at the Trader. Pretty simple, pretty clean. That's what it is.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you guys can find me on Twitter at Star Wars Bill. If you're not already, follow the Skywalking Through the League on Twitter at SkywalkingTL. Once again, I want to thank our wonderful guests. This was Noah's first show of just doing a podcast ever, and he did freaking killed it.
Yes.
All of you guys are wonderful, and I appreciate your time. I appreciate you listening to me, and just spending time in your day talking Star Wars with us. And as always, my friends, Godspeed, Rebels.